means the next card we get to talk about is death. And I love talking about this card because it is probably the one card with the most common misconceptions about, you get the death card and you're going to die. Which is so not true, by the way. And then Laura messaged me and said that she probably wasn't going to be able to come tonight. I don't know if Sarah's coming tonight. Do you guys know if Sarah's coming? Both Sarahs? Either Sarah?
No clue, really.
Is anyone else joining us tonight? Today. It's not tonight. Today. Okay. Okay. And if anybody else wants to come, then they can just join in. Oh, hi, Sarah. Hi. Aw, I like your bun. It's cute.
Thank you. It's called It Is Hotter Than Satan's Asshole Here, and I do not want anything on me.
It is so hot today. Ugh.
My whole life, I thought I really loved the heat and hated winter. No. I miss snow. I miss all of that. I'm so hot.
I bet it's so hot. It's so hot.
Yeah.
I hate it. And here it's probably only like 80 degrees, and I'm like, it's so hot.
I just had to run to the store. My Jeep literally said 101, and it's not even like, it's only 11:30 here.
Dude, I would just die. I would just lay in bed all day. Just not do anything.
Yeah. It is stupid. And then, okay. So a beautiful feature about Arizona is a lot of the laundry rooms are outside. So I literally have to walk out through Satan's asshole to go do laundry. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
This isn't even as hot as it's gonna get either. This is the easy part.
Arizona,
Evelyn Hush.
It's terrible. I know.
It regularly gets up to like 115. That's hopefully the peak.
I am so sorry. That's awful.
I am a northerner. I cannot do this.
My friend who lives in the UK one time was like, "Oh, it's so hot. It's like 80 degrees." I'm like, "Ha! You don't know."
So I totally get you. I mean, I live in Canada, so me and heat, not super good friends, although it has been like in the 80s. I think it was in the 90s yesterday.
It was up to 95.
Yeah, so it was like 95 yesterday. But I will give the UK people this. I was in London during a heat wave.
It's the best day ever here.
I mean, I will give the London people this. I was in London during a heat wave like over 10 years ago. They don't have air conditioning.
I know.
Most houses do not have air conditioning. I was staying in like a hotel, but it was sort of low end, like short-term, a bunch of short-term people. They didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So when it's, 90 degrees plus
it does get pretty hot.
And they aren't used to that. Nobody's used to that. Yeah, that's not okay.
My crumpets are melting.
Right?
Everything was melting.
Because when I went to England, I was really shocked that there was no AC. I shouldn't have been. I'm such a fucking American. And I was like, why don't you have AC?
Here in Z, it's literally illegal to not give renters air conditioning. But when we bought our house, all we had was a couple of like a window unit that was built into the wall and a swamp cooler that didn't work.
Oh,
Oh
So
no.
we suffered like that for 2 years.
that would be
And-
awful.
Yeah, it was. We just recently got it and it's been heavenly.
I've heard that in Arizona, like it gets so hot that your flip-flops melt to the pavement and that like
Yes.
tires will
You
melt to
You
the
can
ground.
literally put a tray of cookies in your car and they'll be done by the time you get out of work. They'll be
Yes.
burnt.
How do you live? How that is like a non-livable place?
I know.
No.
I want out of here as soon as we can.
Yeah, me too. As soon as we fix our house up, I'm freaking gone.
Yeah, like we now have an opportunity to go back to Montana by the end of summer, and we literally have until tomorrow night to make our decision. I'm like, what the hell?
Do it.
Yeah.
'Cause, Arizona
Feels
sounds
like this
intense.
town was a black hole. It's like you can't ever get out of it, I swear.
I've been to Arizona, but I've never been in the summer. And it sounds awful.
Yes,
It is. It is nothing but brown and hot.
Ugh,
I miss the green forest of the Rockies.
I know.
Yeah, being able to walk without shoes on.
I do love where I live. I'm complaining about how hot it is, but in reality, it's probably like 87. And
Oh, that sounds so nice.
I know, doesn't it?
We have our air conditioner set to 80. That feels good.
and my hair's all poofy and I'm all sweaty. And I'm like, it's like 87. It's so hot. But
Evelyn, we have ours at 69.
nice.
Oh, really?
Very nice.
Yeah.
If we had ours set at that, it would be on just all day long and it would be freezing in here.
5:30 in the morning, it's kicking on.
Yeah. It would be running all day. Our house doesn't hold cool air very well, so it would just never stop.
Yeah, I'm over this. I'm excited. Next week, we're going to be back. Well, I'll be back in Ohio for a couple weeks, and it's like in the 70s and 80s, and I'm like, this is going to be gorgeous. I'm going to have some rain. I'm going to have weather. Yay.
It's going to be awesome. I know, it's like, yeah, it's been raining here a lot, which has been really nice. I know it's weird because Colorado isn't supposed to rain a lot, so I know it's like a not so awesome thing, but it's been cool to see rain.
Yeah. Here it's like we've been teased with rain. We get clouds that look like it's gonna rain and then it never does. Literally ever. I don't remember the last time it rained. More than like sprinkles.
Yeah, because we went to Tucson yesterday, and driving home, oh my gosh, like out towards our way, it looked like beautiful storm clouds, and then I pull up WeatherBug, and it's like way past us, like past Morenci, and I'm like, why? Like, give it to us, please. Safford needs this rain.
Yes, so bad.
Okay, so tarot class. So, so hello and welcome to tarot class. I know this recording is going to be so funny. It's been recording the entire time. We just talk about weather. It's cool. So today we are going over the Major Arcana. We left off last time on the Hanged Man, and we discussed the symbology and astrology behind the Hanged Man. And today we are moving on to death. And death is a really fun card to discuss and talk about because, number one, there are a lot of misconceptions about this card. It is used in media, it is used in Disney, it is used in everybody knows about the death card. It's used in anime. It's used all over the place. And it's always seen as this like really dark card where you're gonna die, or I don't know what else it symbolizes, but it's always used in a really negative, horrible way, like something really tragic is gonna happen to you, or that I think I saw it used too in Death Note to symbolize the Shinigami, which is the gods of death. So yeah, it doesn't mean that at all. It does not mean you're gonna die. It does not mean that anything necessarily horrible or tragic is going to happen to you. It is a symbol of change. So in most pagan spiritualities, especially the ones that developed the symbology for tarot cards, death in itself is a symbol of rebirth. It is just a symbol of transformation. It is not a symbol of, being gone forever, or even a symbol of, going to heaven or going to hell or anything like that. It is just a symbol of transformation. Your body and your energy and what makes up you is just transforming into different matter. The matter and energy and particles that make up your body and your mind are just transforming into different energy and different particles. And that's it. And so that is what the death card symbolizes. Now, it is extreme transformation. And sometimes that can be really, really hard. Humans don't tend to love change. It's not something we're very good at. And so extreme transformation is neutral. It does not have it's not necessarily positive, and it's not necessarily negative. It all depends on the transformation. It all depends on you. It all depends on your reaction to it and how you emotionally react to it, how you feel about it, and what exactly is going to happen. And so this card, right side up, is usually discussing and talking about transformation that you are prepared and ready for. Once again, that is neutral. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is positive or negative. It just means that you are prepared. You are ready for change. And really great examples of this that I have seen when I do actual, readings for people is things like being extremely prepared for a divorce or separation. That's, it's not necessarily negative or positive. There are probably really negative things that are going to be really difficult for you and really positive things that are going to be amazing for you. But it just means that you are prepared. You knew this was coming. You are ready to deal with the transformation. You are ready for it to come into your life. And whether or not it's going to affect your emotions and well-being in a negative or positive way, or both, you're ready. And you are embracing the transformation. Upside down, it is an unexpected transformation. Examples of this can be, let's see, upside down death. Unexpected transformation is sometimes we all, having a brain fart. But anyway, sometimes we all go through moments in life where life just hits us with being forced into transforming and changing and growing as a person, and having the lives and the walls around us completely change and transform, forcing us to adapt and to change and grow. And we're not ready. And we didn't know it was coming. And we were not prepared. And we're not even really ready to embrace the transformation. We're not even ready to embrace the change. It just happened to us, and we had to deal with it. And once again, that doesn't necessarily mean positive or negative. It's neutral. It just means that you were not prepared for the transformation that was coming into your life. And sometimes, that doesn't necessarily mean it's always bad. Sometimes just because you're not prepared doesn't mean it wasn't amazing. Sometimes, here, for instance, yeah, my sister, her manager, which she is the district manager of GameStop. So the regional manager of GameStop completely left, and he went on, I don't know what to call it. He got really sick and had to go to the hospital and had to quit his job. So my sister, within 24 hours, got promoted from district manager to regional manager. And she was super stoked. It's a really high pay raise and really cool, but also she didn't want the job. She wasn't going for the job. She had never even looked at the job, and she had no idea what she was supposed to be doing. And so it was a huge life transformation. She went from working 40 hours a week to working 80 hours a week and having no idea what she's doing, and having to meet with a whole bunch of corporate people that she's never met before or talked to, and she doesn't know what's going on. But still, it feels like positive transformation. She just wasn't prepared and has no idea what she's doing. And so that can be an example of upside down death, even in a positive light, that something super wonderful happened to you, but you have no idea how to adapt or what to do. And it hit you really quickly, and you have to transform and grow super fast. And then, of course, it can also symbolize the negative. And there are some things that hit us unexpectedly that force us to grow as people that are extremely tragic and that are really hard to deal with. And, sometimes the death card can mean that somebody in your family has passed away, and that has caused your entire life to flip upside down. And that has caused everything to change. And it has caused you to have to transform and to adapt and become a different person, because sometimes grief and death hit us way harder than we ever really thought it would. And so, yeah, that is the death card. Now, also the death card, which I would love to discuss this because it is so different from the Emperor, but it is also Scorpio. And so why do you think that the death card is Scorpio?
Sorry. So one thing I know is that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So you have the planet that is in control of domination, of control, which that's more towards the Emperor, but this is more towards the other parts of Pluto, which is change, transformation.
Yes.
Potentially fears of that.
Definitely. And it's always good to look at the planet. And I would say too, and I don't say this with every card, that death really embodies both Scorpio and Pluto. And that it is definitely a representation of the planet that rules over its zodiac sign. And it really represents Pluto. And it's probably, to me, just to have it make sense and click in my head, I think the Emperor really embodies Scorpio, and the death card really embodies Pluto's influence on Scorpio. And that's how I kind of, when I was first learning, really made it make sense in my head, even though if you go really deep into the symbology of Scorpio, it does make a lot of sense. But for just learning, I think that thinking of Scorpio as the Emperor makes a lot more sense. And thinking of Pluto as the death card makes a lot more sense. And then remembering the influence that Pluto has over Scorpio, and how that that influence can really help to define the card. I think the death card is kind of the embodiment of Pluto. And then, of course, water. And even if you just take death's element, which is water because of Scorpio, water is adaptability and change and transformation and all of those beautiful things. And it's also your emotional response to them. And as we do know about Scorpio too, their emotional responses are so fun. And so I think that can also be represented by the death card as well, is just the unpredictability of your emotions and how we react to change and how we react to transforming and to adapting, and how it's really emotionally difficult for us to adapt to change.
So this is definitely a Scorpio with a moon-like influence, because it's change. It's just like, you don't know what it's going to change, but change is a guarantee in life. So there's that cycle of having to keep moving forward.
Definitely. And that you have to remember that the only constant in life is change.
Mm-hmm. The only constant in life's not constant.
Yeah, exactly. There are no constants. It's just change. And then, of course, death also reminds you of rebirth, because all transformation really is, in a spiritual sense, is rebirth. That every single time we transform into something new, we are being reborn. And that is kind of just the very spiritual aspect of, when a flower dies or when a tree dies, it just transforms into dirt that nourishes all the other new flowers and the new plants, and it becomes a new tree, and it becomes food for animals, which then becomes new seeds and new life. So remembering that the death card, no matter how tragic the situation is that you're going through in life, that there's always going to be growth and rebirth. And you just, remembering that, not trying to make a positive spin on it, because I don't like that. When you're going through grief, you don't want to be told, don't worry, it'll be okay. Like, that's not really something that you want to hear. But the fact that all things in life transform, all things in life go through death and rebirth. And so remembering that all we are just animals, and we are just part of the earth's cycle. And I think death really represents that as well, is that everything on earth is just a part of the cycle. And yeah, death reminds you of that as well.
I built out the circle of life, but I don't want Disney to copyright infringement this video.
Right? Okay, so that is death. Does anybody have any questions about death? Any questions about death? So, temperance. I love temperance. So, next card is temperance. And temperance is beautiful. Temperance reminds us, so basically when you get the temperance card in your spread, temperance right side up is the symbolism behind it is water being heated by fire and turning into air. And so if you think about what that means in tarot, it is your emotions turning into action and thought, or reacting to your emotions in a physical way, because fire is action and inspiration and motivation, and it is all of the things that we physically do with our actions and everything that motivates us to do things with our actions. So it is emotion turning into inspiration and motivation and action, and then that turning into introspection. And so it is kind of the cycle of it's the cycle of manifestation is what temperance is. And typically the cycle of manifestation, the way that I've always thought of it, is that it starts with a thought. The thought goes into an action, and you react to that action with emotion. But temperance reminds us that there are multiple forms of manifestation. That manifestation can start with an emotion, and that can transfer into an action because you are very emotional. And so you act on that, and that can be wonderful as well. You get really excited about something, because remember, emotions are very vast. There's a lot of emotions. And so you can be extremely excited about something, which causes you to have motivation and inspiration. And then after you act on all of your excitement, then you get to lay back and think about all the things that you did. which is introspection. And this card can be thought of as a card that symbolizes, you know, a 10-year span of all the beautiful emotions and thoughts that you have had, that you have manifested into actions and into reality. And it can also be a symbol that you need to sit back in life and really think about all the actions that you have made and all the emotions that you're having, and that you need to have some introspection. Because if we just manifest things in life through action and emotion, and we never sit back and think about how our actions are affecting the world, how our actions and emotions are affecting society, how our inspiration and motivation affects ourselves and the world that we exist in and the people that are close to us, and we never actually take the time to have deep thought and introspection, then you're not completing the cycle of manifestation, and you're not really connecting with the world around you or really evaluating the actions that you're taking every day. And even in the sense of spirituality, if you're never thinking about how it affects the world and how it affects the people around you, how it affects the environment, how it affects the earth, all these things, and you're not thinking about how it affects your community, then you're not fully manifest. Like, your spirituality is still very, trying to think of another word for, like, it hasn't fully developed yet. You don't truly understand your spirituality and why it means so much to you, because you're not truly sitting back and having that form of meditation and introspection about how you are affecting the world around you. And yeah. So this one, what I really like to do is, because this card is so deep, I like to talk about examples that people have. And right now we're just talking about the right side up version. Because when you flip it upside down, it's the opposite. And so when you flip it upside down, it is your thoughts and your introspection and everything turning into emotion. And when it is right side up, it is all of your emotions. And you need to have turning into thought and introspection. And then, of course, the way that you turn water into gas is through fire. So if we just discuss the right side up, we'll discuss the upside down in a second. But if we just discuss the right side up, what do you guys think would be some examples for somebody's real life reading that they would get, where they would get something like temperance? Oh, and by the way, it is represented by Sagittarius and Aquarius. Fire and air.
Saturn. Be somebody who sees it like potentially something going wrong with their lives, and they're like, I can't live like this anymore. So they're like, I need to make changes. I can't live like that. And therefore act on it. And then they have to just step back and be like, okay, is this where I want to stop, or do I keep moving forward?
Totally. Yes. That is a great example. Or even already being in that stage, you know, that you've already become extremely emotional about your situation in life. The actions that you're taking don't seem to be improving your life. Therefore, maybe you need to sit down and actually think about all the actions you're making and it's kind of that very cliche idea of write down everything that makes you happy and then only say yes to that. And it's very cliche. That's not possible for everybody, but sometimes you need to sit back and think about, what do I actually want? Because sometimes we make a whole bunch of actions and we really haven't actually thought about what we want out of life and what would actually make us happy. What else do you guys think?
Well, with the cup analogy, it's definitely where, you said where it's like the world influences you and therefore you influence the world, which is where that pouring of the cups, because no man is an island. Of course, they're influenced by the things that happen to them. So that's entirely where they're basing their thought process of, is their experiences, which explains why it's Sagittarius and Aquarius, because Aquarius tends to be very detached, very much in their heads. They are what they learned, while Sagittarius is what they've experienced. Whatever the world they've learned from is what they've done or they've been a part of. So this is saying that, you need to balance out between, being part of the action and thinking about how that action isn't turning you into something you may or may not want to become.
Yes, I love that. Yes, totally. And then, of course, you also have to, I do love analyzing this card. There aren't many tarot cards that symbolize Sagittarius. And, I have a deep connection with Sagittarius. It's like my entire chart. And so if you also think about the Sagittarius behind this card, sometimes we do things extremely impulsively based on our emotion. Sometimes we don't think before we act. We just feel before we act. And, this one thing that happened made me super angry. Therefore, I am going to do X, Y, and Z fully based on emotion. And I am not even going to think before acting, which doesn't end well. And that is something that the Sagittarius really, really, really has to think about. And I think that's why this is also, this card represents Sagittarius as well as Aquarius. But I think the Sagittarius within it is just reminding you that if all of your motivation, if all of your actions and all of the things that you do in life solely stem from emotions, then you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to be very impulsive, and you can't do that. You have to think. As much as for the Sagittarius, thinking can suck, because Sagittarius is like to act first and think later. And or they also spend so much time wondering why their brain is so scattered, and they never seem to actually be able to put all of themselves into something, because they are always doing 5 million things at once. Well, the solution to that is introspection, sitting down and thinking about your priorities. And I think temperance reminds you that sometimes you have to sit back and think about your priorities, and you can't do 4,000 things all at the same time, even if your emotions really want to.
And Aquarius is the other side of that. They're all thought, but
they need bear poked.
Yeah, it's that, but it's also remembering that thought, you have to actually think about the emotions that you're having and actually acknowledge them and consider the actions, and not just get lost in your head and try and make it all rational and logical, and never actually analyze what is actually going on inside of you.
Yes.
Sometimes in all aspects.
Sometimes shit just sucks. Just admit that and work forward.
You cannot logic your way out of shit sucking.
Yeah, you can't need to know. It doesn't work.
You gotta admit it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can plan for how to deal with it. But You can't logic yourself into believing that it doesn't suck.
Yep.
It doesn't change anything. It still
Yep.
sucks.
It still sucks. And I think that that is also where, that's a great segue into the upside down temperance. Upside down temperance, this is how I think about it, is that right side up temperance very much shows off the Sagittarius. Upside down temperance really shows off that Aquarius. Upside down temperance is that you have to realize, just a lot like what Kieran said, you have to realize that if you are in a bad situation in life, or if you feel like things are really sucking right now and life isn't where you want it to be, no amount of laying there and thinking about it is going to change anything. As much as the Aquarius wishes that they could just lay there and think all the things away, and that if they just think enough and make enough lists, that it'll just go away. It won't. And I think that's the other side of temperance, is that no amount of introspection, no amount of knowledge, no amount of wisdom, those things are all amazing, but action is required. After you think and you think and you think, and you become very wise about your situation and you understand it completely, and you have a bullet pointed list of all the things that suck, you have to actually then do something. And you have to actually then get up and make the action. You have to become motivated, you have to become inspired, and you have to change life yourself. And it's not going to happen by thinking. And I do envy the Aquarius sometimes, because I would really
you
like
say that.
I know, right? We need a good mix of each other.
You have no idea. I have a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn sun. I will give that out. But I'm a Sagittarius moon.
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius. Double Aquarius.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I bet
Yeah,
you
the
just
Aquarius,
think
Aquarius.
all. Your brain must be so amazing and filled
I
with
mean,
so much.
there's
anxiety.
old school like gas lamp posts. There's a lot of fog. There's some strange things in the fog. Don't look too closely. And there's a lot of stacks of information. It's not organized because I also have ADHD. So there's just stacks everywhere. Can't find anything, but it's all there.
Yes, and that beautiful amount of just being able to think and just to process life. And when somebody comes to an Aquarius for advice, I mean, that Aquarius has probably thought this through for years. And they have probably, completely processed everything that could go wrong as well, which means they've decided that's what the Aquarius does. They think about it to the point that it's a bad idea, so they just don't act on it. Because if you think about it enough, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. They can rationalize anything or de-rationalize it.
Yeah. Whereas the Sagittarius side of this card doesn't do that. They just act. And then, a year later, they're like, maybe that wasn't a great idea. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Instead, I'll just act on something else. And so those are the two sides of the card. It's that you need both. You need both introspection and action, and you need to process your emotions. And upside down, you need to focus more on that action. Right side up, you need to focus more on that introspection and thinking. And then a lot of the cards too, the symbology of temperance is really cool. Usually it is a pot of water creating steam. So it is either your emotions turning into thought, and then upside down, it is the water pouring out onto that steam.
So question, would this be basically summarized as pump the brakes? It's like, don't hit the brakes, just slow down. You gotta stop a minute.
Yes, definitely. I think upside down, it might be a little bit more
Hit the gas.
hit the gas. Yeah, I think right side up, it's hit the brakes. Upside down, it's hit the gas.
Upside down, you've been sitting at that stoplight for about 3 changes of light now.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be time to actually hit the gas before the people behind you rear end you.
Yep. You're waiting for the stop sign to turn green. You need, you need
Yes.
to go.
Okay, so I might have had moments. I'm like, wait, that's a stop sign, not a light. Right.
Yes. Yep.
I love you. I do too.
So yes, that is the beautiful temperance card. I love that card. And once you really, I think that's one of the cards too that you could like write an essay on. It is very deep. There's a lot to it. And I appreciate cards like that because you realize there's so much more to tarot than just definitions. You could write a 10-page essay on what temperance truly means, and astrologically as well as symbolically. It's very cool. So next, Capricorn. So we can talk about you. And that's the devil. So once again, this card is something that people love to throw around. The devil. It's definitely a card too that I really appreciate its history. The devil card is probably the most changed card throughout all of the major arcana, because when this card was very first created, it was not called the devil because Christianity had not yet completely taken over Italy. It had not completely taken over yet. You have to remember that tarot cards are thousands of years old. Therefore, the symbology behind tarot cards are thousands of years old. What we're learning right now is not thousands of years old. But the symbology behind this, like the Strega witches that very first started using these cards as a form of extreme magic and divination and really putting it into ritual work and making it very serious occult magic, was very old. And the Strega witches are 1500 years old. And so it's mixed with Christianity. It mixed with Christianity, and you got the devil card. And it started out as one of the very first cards that it started out as, which we actually just took this class. So I like bringing this up, but it started out as the Jinn. So the devil card was called the Jinn card, or the Shaitan card, which we learned about the Jinn in our last class. It was very cool. But thank you. But so yes, this card started out as the Jinn card, which does not mean Satan. It's a whole thing. It does not mean the devil. It is, without going into the entire history of the Jinn, it was a symbol for rebellion and a symbol for rebelling against the norm, and of course the rejection of religion, the rejection of Judeo-Christianity, the rejection of Christianity, the rejection of Islam, the rejection of all of these things. And so this card it changed a lot. It started as the Jinn as well as the Shaitan. It moved to becoming, it was another thing. This card in some decks is called the Witch, the Sorcerer. I forgot the other one. But anyway, now it's called the Devil. And so if you think about a Capricorn sign, it is really funny that this card represents Capricorn so well. It is a little bit negative. It kind of does represent the negative sides of Capricorn. So this card represents guilt, and how that once you feel guilty about something, it starts to affect every aspect of your life. If you feel extremely guilty about something that you've done in life, it affects every single aspect of what you're doing. I'm not good enough for that promotion. I'm not good enough to go back to school. I'm not good enough to be happy in my new life because I did something, I did something really bad, or somebody is mad at me, or I'm not taking care of the people in my life that I should be taking care of. I'm not doing the things that I wish that I was doing. Therefore, I don't deserve happiness. So even if you are in a situation in life where slowly things are getting better and you feel like things are getting better, you don't deserve for them to get better because you feel extremely guilty for something that you did. And so this card is the embodiment of guilt. And the history behind it is very interesting. And it is that, the jinn should feel guilty for not embracing religion. And so this card has a lot of history to it, but it is the embodiment of guilt. And Capricorn, when a Capricorn feels guilt, it never goes away. It's very, very difficult for a Capricorn to just, forget. Whereas somebody like, a Sagittarius, or a lot of times Scorpio, or some of the other signs, it's very, very easy to be like, it's cool. I forgot. Anyway, it's fine. And whereas the Capricorn can hold on to it forever. And that's kind of the sign of the Devil card, is that holding on to that guilt forever to the point that you feel like you don't deserve to be happy. And upside down and right side up, it is still guilt, no matter what. Upside down, it is guilt that is debilitating, that makes it too hard for you to do. It kind of becomes a mental health issue, something that is weighing on you so hard that it is difficult for you to function in society, or function in society in a way that is that feels good for you. Functioning in society is a very subjective term, but it means that for you personally, you feel like you are not, because of this guilt, you are just unable to do all the things that you wish that you could do in life. Right side up, it's just more of the shadow in the window. That is just, it's always there. You can't get rid of it. But right now you're able to function and you're able to kind of put it aside and go to work. Whereas upside down, you're not able to put it aside and go to work. So this card's also very difficult to read sometimes for people, because it's always difficult to talk to somebody about the things that they feel guilty for. Because usually, especially if you get the Devil card. If you get the Devil card, it is something that is so, you feel, nobody else might think it's that big of a deal. But to you, it's the biggest deal in the world. You did something terrible. Or you feel like you are currently doing something terrible. Or not even terrible, but something that you wouldn't respect somebody else if they did it. And that weighs on you. And so talking to somebody about that is very difficult. And it brings up a lot of emotions for them. And really emotional readings can be really hard. You have to learn how to comfort somebody without making it your problem, just because I've had a lot of people cry during readings, and I'm a very empathetic person, and sometimes I cry when other people cry, and you can't do that because then you make it about you, and then they have to comfort you, and that's not what you want. So learning how to be there for someone without making the situation all about you, and without crying and becoming really emotional, but also not looking like you don't care. So that's another thing that kind of comes with tarot reading, is kind of some interpersonal skills, and also kind of some very baseline counseling skills, because sometimes you're going to talk about some very emotional stuff. And so yes, The devil is the embodiment of guilt, represented by Capricorn. Why do you think that Capricorn, even though I kind of explained a little bit, but why do you think that Capricorn represents the devil?
They're really rule oriented. So with, a strong ethic of what you should be doing, what you're supposed to do, when you go outside of that moral compass that is driving you forward to act, to continue to keep doing that, when you deviate from that, a Capricorn feels it way more because they have such a strong ethic of this is what you're supposed to do. These are the boundaries, and you go forward only in those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You keep slogging at it, you keep pushing at it, but only within those boundaries. So when you transgress your own boundaries, then it's way harder because you are the one that set those. You're the one who says, okay, in my mind, those are my boundaries, because those are things I wouldn't let other people to do. I'm not okay with other people doing that. So now I just did it.
Also, the fact that they seek to be perfectionists because of that moral compass.
Yep.
They very much are always be like, I have to be better. Screw what everyone else is like. Of course that they're not me, so they don't apply by those same rules.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm a Capricorn sun.
Can you tell we've had some conversations about, well, if somebody else did that,
Mm-hmm.
That's them,
would you
not
forgive
me.
them?
Right?
When you say that to me, how come I can't say it back to you?
Yep. That is so Capricorn.
Yeah. Capricorns are like, it's okay, everyone makes mistakes except for me. I am unsalvageable.
Yeah. I am now complete and utter trash. Just throw me out. I made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And that is very much the devil card too, because it's very much that usually when somebody pulls the devil card, it is not that they like murdered someone and they should feel super guilty. It's usually that they went through something really difficult and they can't forgive themselves for the way that they reacted to something very difficult happening in their lives, or the way that they handled immense trauma, or the way, because we're human. And usually the guilt card is just them feeling extremely guilty for something very human.
Put me
You know
on
that?
blast.
You're human. Did that occur to you?
No.
That's what I thought. This is my possum.
Hear you guys talk.
What?
My but hearing you guys talk made so much sense, and I had to look at my chart. My second house is in Capricorn.
Yeah.
Your values? Your values house?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yes. That
It makes sense now.
Yep.
That'd be a really hard house to have Capricorn in.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be, yeah. Wow.
Yep, especially with that Sagittarius rising.
Yeah, I'm really
Sorry.
there's a mess in here.
My internet is being weird. I'm sorry. People are cutting out just a little bit. So I apologize if I look at you like, what? So,
You're not going to show that card, are you?
No. We have a particular version of the devil card in one of my decks that is not something that should be in a recording.
that's great. I love those decks.
Yeah.
For any of you too, I kind of want to show this. So this is, I think, to me, the best depiction of this card.
Oh, shit.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Oh, I love that cup. Evelyn, the cup, I like it.
Oh, thanks. It's my wife.
So if any of you guys have the Fae deck, it is one of my favorite decks because I can tell the artist reads tarot. And I love it when I can tell the artist actually reads tarot. It's fabulous. And because they won't make depictions of the card so pop culture-y, whereas like, the death card is symbolized by a skeleton. Or the devil card is symbolized by somebody doing, something very anti-Christian. And sometimes I really like decks that depict them in a way that would make it easier for you to look at the picture and know what the card means symbolically, like in tarot. And I really enjoy that. So the Fae deck for both death and the devil are amazing. Let me see where. Okay.
Quick question, real quick. Would this be easily summarized as just self-flagellation?
Yes. That's a great way to describe it. I like that. Yes. So I'm actually going to show you. Okay, it doesn't have. Okay, I'm going to show you death really quick because this I love. I love this. Hold on. This is the best depiction of death I've ever seen, and it's very simple, but I love it anyway. Oh, your connection is not private. I know that. It's fine. Go to the picture anyway. I don't care. Whatever. Fine. Is there a way for me to just make it bigger? No. Because I'm recording. It's like, you don't want to click on unsecure pictures. I'm like, it's fine. I don't care. Okay.
Sarah asked in the chat if there was a way to access the Zoom. It's in the message, isn't it? The link.
Hold on, I can grab it.
It is.
It doesn't work well on a phone.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, if somebody else could post that in there, I can't access anything, obviously, which sucks. So anyway, the Fae tarot deck, which I cannot pull up for you because I'm recording.
Thank you.
No problem.
Is a picture of this fairy playing chess. And I just thought that was such a cool depiction because not a lot of tarot decks depict it like that. And for chess, and the chess board representing life, and they have this very specific, the very specific chess pieces laid out where they have taken your queen. And I just think that's a very interesting way to depict it and depict mass transformation, because now your strategy, I don't know if any of you have ever played chess, but if you get your queen taken, your strategy for the game has to change completely, because the queen is a very, very, very huge, massive player in the strategy of winning. And so I think that was just a very cool depiction. But anyway, does anybody have any questions about the devil?
Also could represent the fact that you do have to sacrifice some pieces, even make great sacrifices in order to move forward with the game.
Yes.
You can't win chess without figuring out what you're going to give up.
Yep. Yes. I love that.
I don't think anything more Capricorn has ever come out of my mouth.
That's great. So
What are you doing? Put into it.
We are now going to one day Alex is going to follow her promise and get this spread up on the site. Maybe. We'll see. I'm just kidding. I really am. But for now, I'm going to write it again. I'm just kidding. I really am. Am I not allowed to have my whiteboard while I'm recording? Oh, I am. Haha. I figured it out. It's fine. I got this.
Person.
Okay. So most of you should know this already, but I'm going to draw it out for you anyway, just so that everybody remembers. So, by the way, we are going to start giving each other readings now. It is time for practice. So, we are going to use the entire deck. There's only like 5 or 6 cards left that we haven't gone over, which is so exciting. So, we we are going to do the 3-card spread. Remember that the 3-card spread is not necessarily past, present, future. It is more like this card is your past, your very near past and present. So the present situation that you're in and how your near past has affected it. This is your present future. So this is how your present is affecting your future and kind of what you're going through right now and how that's going to continue on into your near future. And then this one is your far future card. And then, so that's like how, if you were to continue, because I think that's one thing I forgot to describe that kind of confused people. The far future card is, if you continue down this path, this is what your future will be like. So if this card happens, the middle card, if the middle card happens and you continue down that path, then this is your future. And then we have the 2 extra cards that are optional, that sometimes it's just if energy is left over in the deck and you feel like a couple more cards need to come out. This card explains and gives more detail to these 2. And this card gives more detail to these 2.
Question.
Yes.
If you had more than one, more than 2 cards, where would you put that? Like, it'd still be above, or?
Yep. So let's say you had 3. So if you had, yeah, you would still put them all above. And instead, this one would just affect this one, and this one would affect this one, and this one would affect this one.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have 3 extra cards, it actually does kind of become a little bit easier. Then the first one will describe the first card, the second one will describe the second card, and the third one will describe the third card. And we have 4, 5, 6. There we go. And this tarot spread will be depicted on the website as soon as I figure my life out. Someday. But
Oh,
it will.
shit.
So let's see. Let's have Sarah, you are going to read Cabin. If that's okay. If you feel comfortable and that's all good with everybody.
Oh, I never feel comfortable. I know I'm going to suck, but as Kevin's pointed out, it's a learning process, and I don't learn by not trying.
Aw, and you don't suck. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Boy, there's a big difference between inexperience and actually sucking.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I'm trying to learn that, and I can't believe I'm almost 40 and just trying to figure that out.
Hi, I'm 40 and I'm an Aquarius. I can't think my way through it immediately. We'll just not. That could just, I'm not good at that. We'll just, no.
No,
So,
I don't mind not knowing to do things on my own, but when other people involved, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should be perfect. I should be the best. I should be able to teach this right away.
Right?
And it's so hard to reconcile that. It's okay to learn in front of others. Like, I don't have to be so private and in my little ball.
Aw.
after all, you
But-
can learn from your mistakes, but somebody's like, hey, this could be another way you could do it. The thing I've learned, if I fuck up on my own, I just keep fucking up the same way.
Stop you.
Yeah, there's nobody to stop me. There's nobody to point out, hey, so actually this makes more sense, or this is another way to look at it. And I'll just keep fucking it up.
That is a very good way to look at it.
It is. I
I
feel
had a
that way
math
as a
teacher in high
Sagittarius.
school.
I feel that way when it comes to accountability, that I'm going to plan out that I can do 100 things in 10 minutes. But if I have accountability where other people are relying on me, maybe I'll actually do it rather than just planning on doing it.
I had a math teacher in high school who his principle was he didn't give homework, because if we were going to make a mistake and screw it up, we might as well make a mistake and screw it up in the classroom where he can help us.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
So, you know, when we do get stuck, when we make a mistake, we can go ask him, as opposed to spending 3 hours staring at something going, I don't know what I did wrong. I'm going to keep trying. And you've erased all the way through your paper and you still don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
I love that.
me too.
I'll put my reading into the chat.
Oh, yay. Thanks, Kevin.
Then I have one question
Yes.
before I look at it, because I missed the last 2 tarot classes thanks to a migraine and bad Wi-Fi. What is the 6th card?
Like the 6th Major Arcana card?
No, on the spread, because there's like the 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And then I was
here.
here for like the first 2, but I don't know what the new edition is.
Yes, so that was just in case you pull an extra one. So you are always welcome to pull cards that you feel have leftover energy in them that really want to be pulled out. And so 4, 5, and 6 on this chart are just if you have extra cards. Number 6 gives more detail to your far future. Number 5 gives more detail to your present and future. And number 4 gives more detail to your past and your present.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
All right, now let me swipe over. I have to do this on my phone, and like I know how to navigate this on my laptop. So where's chat? Okay, there's chat.
I totally understand. Phone makes things so difficult.
Oh my gosh, it really it is.
So you guys start. I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom.
We're not moving.
It's gonna take me a hot minute.
I will be right back.
I can always just verbally tell you as well.
Oh no, it's okay. I like the writing because I literally cannot pick things up by my brain, like by hearing it.
Yeah. I struggle with the same thing sometimes.
It's so hard. Like, you know, even in the home, my husband or daughter will be like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And it's literally like I never heard any words come out of their mouths.
Audio
I feel
processing.
like awful when this happens. I'm like, just text if I see this.
Yeah. I have a coworker who's even worse. You cannot give her verbal instructions or explanations.
Oh,
Like, if I'm trying to explain something to her, I need to show her or draw it. Because if I just verbally explain it, it just never registers. She just cannot work her way through it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I totally understand, because I have the in one ear and it's gone syndrome. But yeah, she just can't process it at all.
Yeah, that makes it really difficult. Like in these classes, I can that's why I spend all my time writing and not really conversing. Yep. Because I'm focusing on getting on paper, so I actually have a record and something to go back on.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to attempt this.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the ability to take notes whenever, you know, you're willing to tell me.
Oh, for mine?
Yeah.
All right, let me do that real quick. And then that way you can have a chance.
Also, everyone remember that it is Mercury retrograde, so technological issues and, you know, communication issues are a thing.
Which, while I'm shuffling and dealing
I may not be in classes next Saturday. Like I said, I'm traveling back to Ohio, and the house I'm going to be staying at, he has no Wi-Fi. So I have no idea if I'll actually be here next weekend.
That's totally cool. I am going to try my best and my hardest. I know I like say this every class, but I really am. I'm out of school now. I got A's. I feel good about myself. And so I'm going to really try and get the entire section of tarot super updated so you can have the definition and the astrological sign of every major arcana. And so you'll be able to study using the website.
Awesome. Oh, Kev, do you want me to tell you or write it?
You can tell me.
Okay, perfect. So let me get out of this. All right. I have the moon in the first one.
Okay.
8 of Wands in the second.
Okay.
6 of Swords in the third.
Okay.
3 of Pentacles in the fourth.
Okay.
Queen of Wands in the fifth.
Okay.
And 7 of Wands in the sixth.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now I'm gonna try to focus. Give me 1 second. Which actually, while I'm trying to figure this out, because I'm kind of really rusty, if anyone else wants to like at least pull their cards for their reading, so we're not just sitting here.
It's okay.
I feel so bad. Like I hate taking up time.
Will admit, I will point out that you have got a lot of wands, so that's definitely an action-driven reading.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
I mean, I could start reading right now if you want.
If you don't mind, this is gonna take me a hot minute. I am like all over the map. And that way I can make my notes.
It's all right. I mean, I might actually need to like pop in and like get some notes too, because like the 8s and the 7s, I get a little bit of, thank you. I love that you wrote down the notes. Okay, so with the first card being the past and the present right now, the first card being the moon. With that, I'm guessing that the astrological sign is like the moon and potentially Cancer, because we haven't covered the moon yet. It's okay. Take
Chew,
time.
breathe, swallow.
Don't choke.
Don't choke. We can't come give you the Heimlich.
Now we're gonna make her choke. Whoops.
Pisces.
Oh, geez. Definitely an emotional card then. Moon with Pisces being ruled by Neptune, is that there's definitely a lot of emotions going on in the past and the present, and a little bit of confusion because there is that kind of not really grounded sense with Pisces. But with things changing, is that there are like emotional turmoils possibly bubbling up. But mostly because I would say it's upright, it's not overwhelming. It's not something that you can't handle. You are very much like, I have no clue how to feel about this, but you sort of kind of like, I have a vague sense.
Mhm.
And that things are changing and that you need to be a little bit more nurturing to the situation. Like you found yourself being a little bit more in the mothering position. As for the next one, I forgot. I had the notes on my phone. And I'm like, I put my phone down.
The next one's 8 of Wands.
Yeah. Connection to person. Oh, yeah. So with the 8 of Wands, this has a connection to person, places, things, or ideas, rooted in emotions, actions, and thoughts. 100%, it's more action. You're being driven towards action to do with whatever is based in your emotions. So basically, funny, we just talked about temperance being like, use the emotion to drive your action. That's what you're going to be doing. That's the most likely, next step. And then for the Six of Swords being in the last position, this is mostly telling you that you have to come together with a group of people and share like-minded ideas to move forward. You're like, I can't do this on my own. I have a plan. That's basically what I see with the Eight of Wands, is that I've got a plan, I'm acting on it. And then you go straight to the Swords, which is basically like, okay, now let's gather up, team up, we'll share ideas, and then we can keep moving forward with this. That's what happens if you keep moving on this path with the actions. I'm going to be going into further detail in a little bit, so don't worry.
Okay.
For the fourth card being the Three of Pence, hold on, let me see what the threes are. Ideas and decisions made. Oh, so you definitely have the reason why your emotions are being sorry, I'm dealing with something else.
That's okay.
So with the Three of Pence is that this is ideas and decisions being made, and seeing as Pentacles is the suit of Earth, it's definitely having to do with your home life. So what I'm saying with the Moon and the Three of Pence is that your emotional state, you're needing to nurture your, the changes that you're going through emotionally are inspired and triggered by the decisions and ideas being made around your home life. So things have got to change, you're thinking like, okay, this is what I have to do at the next step. Well, I think it's ideas and decisions made, starting down a path and accomplishing goal. That's what it says. So it's basically like, you're emotionally being like, I'm set with doing this, and you're moving forward with that.
There you go. Remember, the only reason I say that is because 2 is making that decision. 3, you've already made it. You've already made it, and you are accomplishing things within it. But yeah, keep going. You're doing amazing.
But definitely with the Moon, I get the sense that it's like with this being both Pisces and the Moon influencing this card, that it's basically like you have started down this path, but you're still kind of second guessing yourself. That, that's mostly the thing that's bothering you right now, is that you're second guessing yourself. You're like, I've made this action, but I don't know what I'm doing. You're YOLOing it.
Literally, I mean, I know we're not done, but that's really explaining what all has gone on just this weekend. Like, we all know what we've talked about before. So we all know that situation. But literally last night, this bomb was dropped on us about we have until tomorrow night to make the decision about moving back to Montana. Because if we don't take it now, we probably won't end up leaving and we'll be stuck here.
Yeah. And emotionally, you've already decided what you wanted. You're probably arguing with yourself logically.
100%.
Yeah, which the next step will actually tell you what to do, which is the Eight of Wands is saying, go forth with this action. But somebody who is a little bit leaning towards the effeminate, which is the Queen of Wands, who is somebody who reaches out and is like, let me help you with this. This is how you should do this. Let's do this. Might be like, telling you to do this, or telling you like, hey, here's how I can help, because the queens are a little bit more a hand reaching out instead of a finger pointing. Because like, with the king, he likes to point you in the direction to go. He's like, I trust you, you can do it. You have your own 2 feet. The queen wants to help. So there's going to be somebody who's trying to be like, go in this direction. This is what you should do with your, with your decisions. And this is somebody who is very action oriented, who's like, this is my motivation. I've got a very strong drive. We're going in this, you want to go in this direction? Here, let me help you. Might even be with advice, might be physically, but I honestly think with, being at the Queen of Wands, it's more of an advice giver who's like, yeah, totally do this. If you're feeling this way, which is what the past is saying, you should do this. Sorry. Yeah, phlegmy throat. And with the 7 of Wands to the far future, let me do the 7s. You're taking a wife. Confidence. I am trying to read your handwriting here. Confidence in deciding what is best after investigating all the options. Positives. Right. Okay, so aha. So telling you some good news here. That 6 of Swords, that decision that you have to deal with other people. With the 7 of Wands, that's of course the motivations. The path you're on is right. If it's upright, this is the one that's saying, you have all this, confidence, you have the path, that this is the path you should be taking. So, go with your gut, go with those emotions, trust your instincts, find somebody who's willing to help you pursue them. And then you're going to end up going where you need to go. Yes, there might have to be some, negotiations, some deliberations.
Yeah.
But you will find where you need to go. And the path. It's saying you absolutely do. You know what you need to do.
I hate that you're so accurate. I mean, I love you, but
It's okay.
I've literally been struggling since last night. Like, what is going to be the best outcome for the future?
Have you been talking with your friend?
I haven't let any of my friends know yet. Like, this is literally just conversations between me and my head, and then like me and Jason, and then me and Kylie.
You need to reach out beyond that group.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to find the Queen of Wands. Because you need to touch base with somebody who's like not a part of the situation. So that way they can be like, here's some advice. Because they might have gone through something similar. But the one problem with ideas is that when you're emotionally in a situation, that's all that's on your mind. You can't see other than the problem right in front of you.
Yeah.
And the obvious, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 decisions to take. Sometimes you need an external perspective to be like, okay, but this is basically what I see because I'm not clouded by that, immediate problem to be fixed.
Yeah.
So yeah, reach out to a friend.
I need to. I'm bad at that.
You can
Does
go
anyone
get
else have-
coffee. Just say
Yes, we need to. Which I'll message you and we'll set up something because, like I said, we're supposed to leave Wednesday morning. Monday, oh my gosh, these last like 48 hours has been insane. So okay, I'm gonna tell everyone real quick. We went to Tucson, and back in April, I spent a crap ton of money getting my Jeep fixed. Cool. So we go to Tucson last night, which is a 2-hour drive from our house. My Jeep needed jumped to get started. And then at every single red light, it would stall like it's a manual. So we parked at the mall, sat for like 2 hours, finally drove home. And so Monday I go to the shop to get that fixed. So do you want to meet Monday?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, literally, it's like so many things right now and just going on. And my brain is just literally all over the map. I'm like,
Needs to word vomit.
yeah, like I just need like 5 minutes to just sit and not think about all of these big life decisions. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Can I make a joke though? Like,
Of
not
course.
to make light of your tragedies, especially with your car. But it's like you were at Gemini last week with Micah, yeah?
Yeah.
Remember how Micah said about cars breaking down?
I'm gonna have to yell at her. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm just like,
Oh.
Micah's afraid of it. And I'm just like, and it happened to you.
Knock on wood.
She jinxed it. Oh,
Yep.
that's literally, and oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Mercury retrograde.
When is the happy, easy energy? I want that.
In the future, it's basically saying that the path you're taking is right. You're gonna do exactly what you want to do. There might
So
have
that
to be
means
some
we're going.
negotiations.
Yeah, that means we're going. I don't like Arizona. It's not fun here.
It's too hot.
It is. And it's too brown. I miss like pretty green
Yes.
trees and green grass.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so I got
you know what to do.
yeah. And also the area we'd be going to would really help with my other plans that we've discussed.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go with it.
And then I'll be close to you guys too. But I'll be leaving you, Evelyn. Sorry.
That's okay. You don't. I
You're
don't.
giving
owe you.
Evelyn somewhere to run away to.
Yes. Summer nice and cool most of the year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine it's July? Just Evelyn just calls up, please get me out of here. Please get me out of
Once this house is fixed up, I'm out of here. We've been far away.
here. Be a hermit of the woods. Be your local cryptid.
Literally, oh, my dream.
That was
had that
wonderful,
during.
Kevin. By the way,
Yeah.
that was so good. I can tell so much, which makes me feel wonderful. That you've learned so much, and your readings are getting so good. Even your like intuitive predictions about what's actually going to happen are amazing. You did such a great job. And then what I was talking about, how in readings, when you give people readings, a lot of times a lot of stuff comes up, and it's kind of like a counseling session as well. You also are extremely good at that. And I can tell you're very empathetic, and you're really, really good at talking to people about everything they're going through. And that's something that is really hard to teach when it comes to tarot reading. So that's wonderful. Awesome.
I will thank my DVT sessions for that. I'll give that Oscar speech and thank you to my therapists.
Oh, that was so good. Yay. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so I've got half of his cards wrote down, so I'll go ahead and just wing it from there.
Go it.
So, okay, for your very near past / present, you have the Three of Swords. And what I managed to write down was, it's really about you having a decision to make, or you had a decision to make, and it required a lot of communication to really kind of get to the root of it and to find like a happy medium within for the parties involved. Then I have the High Priestess in your second, which is your near future. I think, or I feel like you're good at controlling your emotions, and you also have a strong tendency to detach. To deal with this situation, you need to be open and continue communication and work with others for the bigger picture. And then for the third one, the far future, I have the the Knight of Swords. I feel like there will be a sudden influence change in your life that will require, a lot of courage. You need to continue with the communication from, the High Priestess and from the Three of Swords, that way you can kind of really just see through like the BS and make sure everything's good for you. So that's what I got written down so far. Now we wing it. So for the fourth one is the Three of Cups. And I feel like this one's gonna be emotions, kind of tied to your like self-achievement within this situation. Yeah, I'm really bad. I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't had any practice in a while.
You were doing
Not a
so
lot.
good.
Don't worry.
Don't even.
So let's see. All right. So we'll go to the fifth card, which you have as the Hierophant. Can
Yep.
you say that one?
It's reversed.
Oh, thank you. So I have an
But the
arrow
R's
there.
meaning is reversed.
Alright, so all right. You've definitely been anxious about the past, and you haven't really fully lived in the present due to the situations that have occurred, and through your anxiety about that. You really need to just stop and live in the present. And the last one, the sun, I don't know anything about the sun yet.
You're muted.
Oh,
Sorry. So that's totally okay. The sun is represented, well, by the sun in astrology, as well as Leo.
wait. So let me jump to a different chapter.
Okay.
All right, so I really see just, there's a lot of growth within you while or through all of these situations that have continued to shape you into who you are. You're constantly going to be in action, just growing and overall just being like fierce while you navigate this and deal with the traumas of your past. And that's what I got. I don't know.
Well, currently I've been dealing with the whole like I don't know what to do with myself. So this definitely says it that I've made some decisions, and unfortunately that left me like high and dry. And yeah, this fits.
One thing I want to mention, just for you did an amazing job. You really, really did. I can tell that you're really grasping each one of the cards, and I think that you did an amazing job. I really do want to mention, just for Kevin, this reading really, really, really shows so much mental health accomplishment. The Three of Swords plus the Three of Cups is like just so much mental health accomplishment, that you have grown mentally and accomplished so much when it comes to your mental health. That is just outstanding and amazing. And I just wanted to mention that, because that's having both of those cards come up in your reading for the Three of Emotions and the Three of Thought. That is just so much accomplishment when it comes to mental health and really working on yourself and really becoming the person that you want to be. And I think you should give yourself a lot of credit, because those are two incredible cards to get in the same reading.
Absolutely. And I was like, and it's funny that like the mental health accomplishment that I've got was basically like, one, accepting the fact that I'm autistic, and two, the fact that I've basically cut out my mother, because she was, hey, look what Sarah said, that basically my mother would try to manipulate me and has been. So I cut her out. And like that also explains the next step with the whole high priestess and the Hierophant, which is odd because they're like basically on either side of the Emperor and Empress, which is like a couple, like they feed into each other. And then you have these two, which are like spirituality and religion. How about that?
And then also getting the reversed Hierophant too. You have to remember, because there is the spiritual side of the Hierophant, but then also the Hierophant coming up just fits so well with the Three of Swords and the Three of Cups coming up, because the Hierophant reminds you that you are not immortal and you should be proud of yourself right now. You should be living life right now, and you should be proud of the accomplishments that you made right now. It's not always about in the future I'll be better. It's about right now you're better, and right now you're doing amazing, and right now you should embrace all the amazing things happening to you in life, because you're not immortal, and because life, it's happening right now. It's not happening in 2 years. And the Hierophant reminds you of that as well.
Yep. It's just This is one hell of a reading I needed.
It definitely is. You did a great job, Sarah. This is an intense reading. Like this is, that is definitely
3 out of 6 cards were Major Arcana. So yeah.
Definitely.
No, and not to mention like half of them were kind of like vague.
Yes, for sure. And getting the High Priestess too, and remembering that because you got the Three of Swords as well, it is also just remembering that being in your head all of the time and feeling detached from everyone else, because it's next to that 3, you should not feel bad. That's not something that's wrong with you. That's something that's great about you. The Three of Swords coming up next to that, it means that you should embrace the fact that you are able to go inside your head better than most people are. And that is something to be celebrated. A lot of people aren't able to enter their own mind and to really think about themselves in that way, and to get lost in a land that exists only in their own mind. And that's something that should be celebrated.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at something I know. Yeah. I have dissociative identity disorder.
It makes sense.
So getting lost in his head is a literal possibility. It all makes sense.
It does.
And,
It
like,
makes a lot of sense.
Sarah picked that out. Like, you know it. You know what I'm talking about.
And I don't know who knows that, or if you want anyone else to know. So I didn't want to implicitly say something.
That's why I was laughing when you were doing the reading. I'm like, yep, that's what Sarah means. That's also why I've been laughing other times in this entire class, because I was like, oh no, because
Accurate.
yep.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
It's
that
like-
has a double meaning. Oh.
Because I love getting to know you guys on a personal level, but then I don't know like if everything's okay to be said or if there's certain things off limits.
Full blast. Being autistic and having DID are who makes me who I am.
Yes.
Because, you know, yes, I do hear voices in my head. Yes, sometimes I'm not here and it's somebody else piloting. This is formative. My experience in life is formative by these things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you should celebrate those things, because everything's coming up very positively, and that the things that are reversed is you believing other people's opinions of you, or you not embracing how awesome you are. And that is, you know, that those are still positives, even though they're upside down, because it's just all about how you have to realize how amazing you are, how special, how unique, how beautiful your mind is. And those aren't negatives. Those are positives.
Yep.
Even if they don't always feel as though they are positives.
Sarah, I'll just say this. If Micah can put us on blast by reading us for Zodiac, feel free to do it with the tarot cards.
Okay.
Occasionally you do it to yourself in astrology. I'm like, oh no. Oh, no, that's okay. But yeah.
So let's see. Okay, cool. We still have time. So I'm going to have Evelyn and Kieran.
I feel like we always read each other.
Yeah.
I know. I keep
Yeah.
trying
We
to
read
mix
each
it
other,
up,
like,
and then I
3
realized
times at
that I
least.
didn't.
Be nice to Evelyn. Going, I'm not the one drawing the cards.
Have you not drawn yours?
Yes, I have. I just meant
Oh, you,
whatever your cards come up as, I have no influence on them. I will be as nice as your cards let me.
they seem pretty okay this time.
Well, that's good.
I don't
Mine-
know.
Yeah.
What are yours?
Do you want me to type it or just say it?
Go ahead and just say it.
Okay. First card is the 5 of Wands reversed. The second card is the 2 of Cups upright. Third card is the 10 of Wands reversed. And then the fourth card, for more about the past and current present, is the Fool upright. The fifth card about the near future is Page of Swords reversed. And then I did draw a sixth card about the far future, which is the 3 of Wands upright. come sail away with
Okay.
me. Oh, there's boats on the Three of Wands. That's why I was making the song. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forget that you guys can hear.
Okay. Mine are, the first one is, do you want me to say it or type it?
Saying it's good.
Okay. Queen of Swords upright. Second one is Page of Coins reversed. Third one is the World upright. Fourth one is Seven of Swords reversed. And fifth one is Eight of Swords reversed. And that's all I drew.
Yeah. Okay.
So who plays rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first?
Oh, I don't need, I'm gonna need to read a little.
Okay. And just to double check, because I was writing quickly, the Seven of Swords upright or reversed?
Both of the 4 and 5th cards are reversed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it's reversed, but I didn't write that down, and now I'm double checking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will fumble my way through this. So Queen of Swords upright is in the near past present. There's somebody who really mentally has their shit together, who has been helping you, giving you advice, being involved in getting you into your current situation. They know the counsel to give, and they're there to help you work through mentally all the stuff that you've got going on in your head, because they're good at it. This is what they do. Other stuff they might not be so great at, but having mental stuff, working through thought processes and working through mentally how to untangle things, that's something they're really good at. So they are in your life trying to help you out with that. The Page of Coins reversed in the second card. So your near future, there is going to be somebody trying to give you advice on your situation in terms of where your life is at, in terms of your physical situation, who they're going to bring you a message, but it is not one that you should listen to. They're going to tell you something that you need to be considering something. In terms of that, they're going to give you an idea of, oh, hey, this thing is coming up in terms of your situation, and given how much you're working on your house right now, that seems like a potential possibility. But that message is not the one to take. And then the World upright. That's one I don't know. Because we haven't done the World yet, have we?
Yeah,
No.
you had it in a previous reading. It's Sagittarius.
Yeah, that doesn't mean so I do have my notes on the reverse, so I can guess. So the outcome for far future, if you do not listen to that message and you keep following where that Queen of Swords is sending you, is that things are going to turn out right. Your world is going to be what it should be. And you're going to have the right perspective on the outlook and where things are going. So to give you more guidance, past and present and the near future, the Seven of Swords reversed. 7 is telling you that the path that you're taking, you need to spend some time reevaluating and assess like how committed you are to the way you're going. And that Queen of Swords is probably there to help you do that. They're giving you the tools and the knowledge to really sit down and think through what you want, what you're committed to, how to move forward. And that will help you know when that message comes to you about your material world, that'll help you know when to say, I'm not taking that message. I'm not interested. That's not the right option right now. That is not the right thing to do. And as long as you stick with that, that Eight of Swords reversed, telling you that there's a connection that you need to be watching out for in terms of your ideas. There's thoughts you've been holding on to a little too tightly. And you are needing to let go of those. So again, follow the Queen of Swords' advice. Follow the things that Queen of Swords is telling you, is giving you directions on in terms of where you're working through your thoughts, how you're planning things. And that will help you find the message not to listen to. It'll help you figure out how to reevaluate the path you're taking. And it'll help you know how to get through letting go of the ideas that are keeping you stuck, that are holding you on and keeping you from being quite there, which gets you to the world being upright, the world being your oyster laid out at your feet, that you will be ready for embracing everything and having everything laid out just as it should.
Yeah, that I'm trying to decide if the Queen of Swords is my therapist or like my mom, who I usually like. The therapist, you know, that's emotional stuff, but then like my house, I usually discuss with my mom, but she doesn't want me to move far away, so I don't know.
You just answered it. You
Did
just
I?
answered it yourself. Your
What did I
therapist
say?
is the queen. The page is your mother.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like you
That's
just did
true.
it. You answered it.
I mean, the therapist is there to help you work through your shit,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, that's the
includes
first one that came to my mind.
stuff up here. And it's not like therapy is never just emotional.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
it's
Yeah.
always working through the thoughts that you're stuck on, the things you're
Mhm.
holding on to. And that Eight of Swords reversed, telling you that there's something you're holding on to way too tight that's going to lead you in negative ways.
Yeah.
When you have
Yeah.
a Queen of Swords giving you advice on what to let go of, how to move forward, how to
Mhm.
think through things.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
when someone's telling you to, hold on to that, stay put in a situation that really isn't
Yeah.
going to work for you.
Because I got really lucky with the therapist that I have, because I live in such a conservative, Mormon, homophobic, racist town that it's like Sarah knows what I'm talking about. She's like nodding so hard. And my wife being closeted transgender, it's like
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
way we're staying here. There's no
Yep.
way. But I got lucky because she's got the same opinions as me. I was so terrified that I'd have to drop her because she was going to make a face at me saying my wife, that she's,
Yep.
thank goodness, on the same page and is able to help
Mhm.
me, validate my fears and frustrations, and then also help me work through them, which is really good. So, yeah, because that's what I'm trying to decide, is like fighting with the idea of, should we just sell the house to somebody that'll fix it up themselves so we don't have to work on it anymore, or should we be patient? So maybe she can help me work through those.
Yep. I would say that's a good place to start, to think about,
Yeah.
get some help on, between those decisions, logically, what's going to help you the most, what's going to take you the best path logically, whether it's better to GTFO now for your mental health, for your wife's mental
She's
health.
fine, but I'm like, my wife's fine, and I'm like, can't do it anymore.
Yeah. or whether you stick it out a little bit longer and do the work to have the best outcome. But
yeah, that's the biggest battle right now.
yep, don't blame me on that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's see.
That was so good, Kieran. That was amazing. I swear,
Sorry for the outburst.
since you started tarot reading, it really feels like you've done this before. Like you just like grasped onto this so fast and so well. It's amazing. And so yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much. That was great.
Okay.
Sorry for blurting.
Let's see. I'm gonna fumble a little more because I haven't done it very much.
Totally okay.
So 5 of Wands. Let's see.
Evelyn, it can't be any worse than mine.
I thought yours
Yours wasn't bad either, so shush you.
I feel like you know more about them than I do, so like mine will probably be more vague because I don't know what's going on. So
Vague is the right starting point. I mean, I'm still working up from vague. And the only reason I got totally vague is that I know a little bit about you. So I can be like, oh.
yeah, it's easier when you know a little bit because then you can say, oh, here, it relates to that.
And also tarot should be a cooperative thing because, like I always encourage the person who's doing the reading, ask questions like, hey, is this somebody like, this might be somebody in your family. Do you know who I'm talking about? Because like you answered the whole thing about like, I don't know if this is my therapist or my mom. And it's like,
yeah,
you just did. Yeah. Like,
let's see.
so feel free to ask questions. Kira's good.
The 5 of Wands reversed for, hold on. My book says deception and misinformation. So I feel like maybe recently you have maybe heard some gossip or some sort of stuff that may not be completely true. And so like right now maybe you're feeling kind of stressed out about this information that you're not completely sure if it's true or not, and you don't want it to be true. Let's see. So for now maybe just be careful of who you trust. Sorry, brain fart, hold on. And so the 2 of Cups for the near future, those things will probably be resolved and you won't be worrying about it anymore. It's not going to be that stressful. You'll have learned the truth by then. Let's see. So maybe you'll have a little bit more communication with what you may have heard. If this is what it says, if friendships have been difficult territory for you, the 2 of Cups shows harmony will return. So whatever you may have heard about maybe a friend or a family member, it's not going to be as, it's not going to be a problem in the future, even though maybe it's something you're worrying about right now. It's not going to be a big deal in the future, even though it feels like a big deal right now. And then wait a minute. Let's see. this one kind of sounds like the same Five of Wands, where maybe you're still stressing out about whether or not this rumor or thing about this person was true. And so you're feeling a little bit, you'll be feeling a little bit more stressed out still about that problem. But I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Take your time.
Panicking, and so my brain's like going into a tunnel.
You're doing really, really good. You're doing awesome. Really, promise.
So maybe with this one, just in the future, even though maybe the issues have been resolved with this person, just try to, not worry about those issues too much, that it may be just more of, something that you don't really need to be worrying about, and just focus on being kind to yourself, and once you do this, you'll be able to see whether the issue was actually a big issue more in the future. Let's see. And the Fool, that feels like it will connect the first two very well. Hold on one second. So, Fool upright. There it is. So for detail in between the first and second card, it sounds like you might need to take a little bit more, like just have a leap of faith, maybe trust that this person isn't doing the thing that you're worrying about. But make sure you're thinking about the decision and everything, but at the same time, just try to trust the person, and trusting them, and just trusting that it'll turn out the way that it needs to, will really help you build that trust back up with that person. Let's see. There we go. And then the Page of Swords. Wait, okay, yeah. Okay, so if it's got 6, let me look at the chart again. So okay, so number 5 is, I'm confused with the chart. So is number 4 just relating to the first card, or is it connecting the 2 still when it's got 6?
If there is 6, then the 4 is just about the first card. And
Okay.
5 is just about the second.
Okay, so what I said still works.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. So Page of Swords reversed. Feels like maybe somebody is going to still try to tell you that this person isn't worth trusting, and they'll do what they can to make it where you don't believe them, or believe that this thing is true. Somebody who's gossiping, which and is going to continue to gossip, and just in order to keep that harmony with the person that, or whatever that you're worrying about right now, just ignore that person, because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to stir up drama. And then the last one. Wait. So the Three of Wands upright. So I can't remember what I said about the three of the number 3 cards now. So shoot, what did I say? Do you remember? Because I don't remember what I just said. Of the Ten of Wands thing. I'm trying to
The Ten of
remember.
Wands is that I'm still worrying about the rumor and that I don't need to, that I can just let that go.
Okay. So yeah, so just, try to take care of yourself. And this one is saying that maybe just work on the projects that you have been working really hard to achieve, and don't let those fears get in the way of anything. And then try to keep that balance of trusting that person and not letting insecurities or worries get in the way of any of that, and to just focus on your goals rather than any worries that this thing or this person is not who you think that they might be. Yeah. I don't know how accurate that was. I felt like I was all over the place.
No, that was really good. I'm just like mentally going through. It's like,
Yeah.
like, who does this connect to?
Yeah, because
Which
you have
is
a whole
always-
bunch of wands in there. So
Yes. Yeah, that's a lot of wands.
yeah.
That was really, really good. You did an amazing job. I loved it. I love how you tied the Fool in there. The Fool is hard. It is not an easy card. The Fool is very complex and difficult. It symbolizes a whole bunch of stuff, and you did so well squishing it into what it means when it's specifically in this reading. And that was great. You did an amazing job.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
That was awesome. So does anybody have any questions about anything?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Then that is the end of class today. Thank you all so much for being here. I really enjoy these classes. I think they're really fun. So thank you for being a part of them.
Thank you, Alex.
Of course. And I will see you all next week.
Yeah, see you. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, and
Bye.
astrology is at 4. So anybody who wants to come for astrology, Micah is talking about Cancer today. So I'll see you then.
Yep. See ya.
See you guys in a little bit.
See ya.
Bye.